Hello, I'm John Proxy on the channel John of the West. I'm having the Disco Elysium adventure, and the last episode, not only was I covering up, but I think the in-game sound was out of sync by maybe a second? Maybe half a second? Anyway, it was actually my voice, but I resync it up so my voice was making sense. Anyway, cleaning lady says, "Give me a moment." An elderly woman is leaning on her broom. Her knuckles are white as bone. She seems to be having difficulty breathing. Gotta remember, make sure he goes home. Let's continue.
The coal never does any good for my bronchitis.
Alright. That sounds like a much younger person doing that voice, I'm afraid. But she sneezes into a dirty handkerchief. Are you alright? Should I call a doctor?
Fine. Don't you worry about me.
She starts coughing. Red spots appearing on her cheeks.
Now, what you want from me, policeman?
Logic, easy, success. She's the cleaning lady. She knows the floor plan and the residents. I'm looking for a young male. In his mid-20s, dark hair, skinny build, smoker on the balcony. Yes, I know who you mean. The scrawny boy who's always smoking like the devil, right? She looks at the other end of the hallway. You hear somewhere in the building, a child starts crying. You hear a radio tuned to a talk show, and someone's taking a shower. What's he in trouble for? No trouble. I just want to talk to him. Do you know where he lives? Talk. The cleaning lady starts laughing, but it turns into a violent coughing spasm. She squeezes her broom, trying to catch her breath. What was so funny about that? He lives upstairs, room 28. Go to the balcony. It's one of those doors there. She points east. He's usually home in the evening. Thank you. He turns to you. We should go check out his apartment on the balcony if he's home. Who are you? I'm no one. Just an old woman who cleans these hallways. Do you live here? If you can call it living. She spits on the floor before wiping it off with a broom. I have a little room upstairs right next to the coal room. It's barely bigger than a closet, but I don't complain, no. She juts out her chin, eyes shining. I have my bed and my aching bones to keep me company, and that's all I need from this world. She hasn't spoken to anyone for a while. Even her sentences feel rusty. I have a few questions about those apartments. Ask away, policeman. Who lives at apartment 10? No one lives there. It's been empty for months. But I talked to someone through the door. Impossible, the cleaning lady says, shaking her head. I would know if someone had moved in there. She pauses, eyeing the hallway. Maybe it's those countercultural people again, breaking into our houses like it's a public space. You're a policeman. Be good and take a look, will you? Sure. I'll see what I can find. Great. Young people, they're worse than rats, you know. Always littering the hallways with trinkets and empty beer cans. Is one of the residents on vacation? Their mailbox is overflowing. People come and go. I don't keep an eye on everyone. Probably just moved or died. Hopefully somewhere else. Who lives behind the padlocked door? Oh, that one's a scientist. A future scholar. Suddenly an old lady's face is beaming. I think he studies astrology at the community college. Education's good. I always tell him to study. Astrology? Something to do with all those stars around his door? He asked me to leave his drawings up on the wall. You mean the star and antlers? I think that's the symbol of communism. The symbol of what now? You know, the ones who support the working class against capital? Huh, the cleaning lady says. I thought Revachol was the capital. Did I gain it? What was that? Oh, I leveled up, cool. Do I want one or more of these spaces? I know I'm not really using it right now because of... But I might get more. Or I could counter one of these objects. I'll keep it for the time being. Tell me about the man who lives on the end of the hallway. Uno du Reiter? The cleaning lady starts digging for something in her pockets. I don't really want to talk about the De Reuters, she mutters. Why not? Addicts, all of them. And sometimes I hear them screaming, she winces. Continue. They don't like me cleaning behind their door. They think I'm listening in on their fights. It was dirtier there, after the janitor's closet. She avoids the end of the hallway. We saw unpaid utility bills. Are they going to be evicted? No one likes them in this building, she shakes her head. It's only because of the kid they haven't been thrown out. I don't like talking about those people. She looks down the hallway. That's all, thanks. I'm off. Okay, let's go back to number 10. This apartment's supposed to be empty. Did you break in here? Excuse me? Of course not. There's no sweet talking your way in there. Be official. You have plenty of reasons to enter. I don't need a warrant if I suspect there's been a break-in. Oh, come on. Oh, come on! There's a pause before you hear the door being unlocked. Well, that was easy. That was smart, the lieutenant says, nodding towards the unlocked door. That was stupid, though. Ooh. +1 to indirect modes of taxation. What? What? Composure, -1 savoir-faire. What the hell does that mean? These Per and Ingersoll shoes have no lacing, but a strap and a buckle. Due to their elegant and affluent design, they have been described as the most advanced dress shoe. So advanced, in fact, that walking through slush and mud does not leave a single trace on them. Affluent moneymaker, man. How important is composure anyway? Yeah, 4's pretty good. Not really, but I'm gonna put these smart shoes on. Why not? The luxury of fine things. Just look at those black monk straps. After spending an entire day hustling, who's to say that you didn't deserve a pair of ridiculously expensive shoes on your tired feet? Right. Beautiful things do make people happy. Beautiful things give you a rush. It's power. Crafting your style. Draping your flesh in silk and leather. Deciding how to present yourself to the world. Remember, when they come to take it away from you, you worked for those shoes. Whether you like it or not, wearing those shoes have made you more liberal. Ultra-liberal. Ultra actually says ultra-liberal. They're either a gateway drug or a booster pack to get you deeper into the free market ideology. Oh, I accidentally did an ultra-liberal thing. I just wanted the nice shoes. So if we look at this, I don't know where they keep it. Ultra-liberal 2. I wish you'd explain. I don't really know what ultra-liberal means. I'm very communist, though. I guess it's like a capitalist, but yeah. Looks like a fine mattress. Don't be ridiculous. You can hear it swarming with bugs. Lists the pack of medicine, peeks out the box. You should take it. Satisfied? My name is Marielle Charpentier. I'm an agent with the Martinez Realty Associates. See, we don't call them. Realty's not a name that comes up in the UK. I am not breaking in, as I have every right to be in here. The keys, see? She jingles a set of keys in her hand. Boy, there are a lot of different keys there. More than 20 at least. Do you want to see my ID as well? You can't legally ask for it, but why not? Want to see my residence permit too? She fumbles for her purse, fishing out a light paper-clad passport. Inspect the passport. There's a bit of authority there. It feels flimsy in hand, with the words Revachol Special Administrative, that's a word I don't like, region written under the nondescript municipal logo. There's a picture of her with shorter hair inside, along with all her personal details. Nice haircut. Hand back the passport. Thank you. She slips the passport back into her purse. Do you have any questions? I need to back in Midtown in an hour. I glimpsed a foreclosed apartment down the hallway. Oh, that's another huge mess. The former tenant owes us 3 months of rent. 3! We closed the apartment and planned on auctioning off the valuables, but... And again, I have no idea how stupid mistakes like this can ever happen, but Ron, when he came to close the door, didn't close the neighbouring door. There's a hole in the wall. A hole in the wall, can you believe it? She spreads her hands, and the tenant ran off with his stuff. He's gone. Money's gone, just like that. She snaps her fingers. Some must have been puny. My money has also disappeared, I think. Well, it does not disappear from my hands. No, I don't let it. It couldn't have been that much money. These apartments look pretty shabby. These apartments are perfectly fine. They have a gorgeous architecture, a million real view of the bay, good ventilation, neighbours, life, spark, and they are affordable. I tell you, Martinez has the future. In a few years it's going to blossom with artists and creatives and those radio computer wizards. Ah, so wait, what happened with the wall? Don't ask me what happened with the wall. I have no idea how we're going to find the time or resources to fix it. Both apartments are now unrentable. Both! She's still shaking her head. Manicured hands now cross over her chest. What are you doing here? She sighs and looks around. I need to get it ready for the next lease, but as you can see, the previous tenant completely trashed the place. Sounds like they knew how to have a good time. It was some kind of moribund old man who used to be a business owner. You'd think they'd make rent. She stops hesitating. A sudden serious look crosses her face. The story didn't have a happy ending. But that was months ago. Anyway, was there anything you wanted, or is that it? I'm in a hurry. That's all. Thank you. Of course, she replies with a smile, but her eyes remain glazed over. She's been waiting for you to leave. I mean, it helps with rolls. Right.
Give me a moment.
I didn't find any counterculture people in apartment 10. It was just the real estate agent setting up a room for new tenants. I see. She takes out her handkerchief and wipes her nose. Hope some good people finally gonna move in. This place needs them. No one is coming. There'll be nothing but squalor unless we start killing real estate agents. We won't be killing anyone. You shouldn't say things like that. You're a police officer. There's been enough killing. I've seen it. She coughs. She's seen it and known those who've been killed. Yeah, that was a bit insensitive of me. Alright, it's a bit weird that it lets me do that. My pry bar. Oh, I'm holding it.
Give me a moment.
Nope. Oh, it's got the hole. Note reads foreclosed by Martinez Realty Associates. Book 16 days in coldest April. I'm not going to look at that yet. Waves crashing in the darkness. Someone has tore down the wall. Lovely. An old Gracie list on the table and checks. What happened here? Can't foreclose on an apartment with a hole in the wall. It will still be accessible through the apartment next to it. That one didn't have a door. Sadly, nothing of great value remains here. Except the stuff in the fridge. Indeed. Just remember to do that at night, John. Definitely don't run out of time. I don't think it matters if I run out of time. Try and get those shoes, though. That'll probably come back and haunt me. There we go. I was going to pause it then, but... Huh. Oh, we're by the harbour? Hey, up here, Piggo. Okay, I'm going to run out of time, aren't I? Yeah, you better keep walking. Look, it's rusty. You can't get in. Chesnu, somebody lives back here. Look at me when you're talking to you.
The streets will flow red once more. A great torrent rushing down Rue d'Esperance. You wait and see.
The girl stares at the sailboat by the pier. She knows nothing, John Snare.
The streets will not flow red with anything. Who are you?
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth? Blood type? The last time I was tested for Hep C?
We just want to know your name, little lady. No need to be defensive. Let's start with your blood type and go from there.
Accosting a minor?
Listen to your partner, pigman. Keep your grubby hooves off little old ladies.
Despite the attitude, she puts the brush aside. That smell coming from her paint bucket. It's not paint, it's heavy fuel oil. Oh, she poured the paint. Do you know anything about the recent murder? She wrinkles her nose. I ain't no Stitch, Pigstain. Go I can't do the accent. Forage and someone else's shit. No shortage of squealers in these parts. Actually, there is a shortage of people who talk to us in a normal, calm and informative manner. We weren't put on this earth to make your life pleasant, fucko. What are you doing to the wall? Can't you tell? I'm painting a beautiful mural, an aero graffitio visible from low orbit. She studies the wall, suddenly pensive. I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words. Why are you so committed to defacing the building? This place is severely lacking in havoc. Not even the occasional trash fire can break up the tedium. I thought I'd mix it up, you know. Summon the forces of crime and social chaos with a wall-sized invitation. So you didn't know what to write? Have you ever tried your hand at graffitio? When faced with a blank wall, most people write unimaginative stuff. Pigs go home. Mona was here. We rarely see pigs around here, though. Just union cats. My name's not Myrna, so I have an opinion on it. Want to hear it? Yeah? I love public art. Don't mind us. Keep doing what you're doing. Thanks. I'm sure the inspiration will come to me now that I have an official RCM stamp of approval. She means the opposite. You keep looking off to the side. What are you looking at? She nods disdainfully towards the woman performing maintenance on the boat docked next to the pier. Hatred, disgust. It's difficult to tell which of the two is more present in her girlish features. Joyce Mercer, the woman on the boat, does not notice her staring. She hisses, "That Ozone whore. Someone's got to keep an eye on her." Ozone is an archipelago, 2 days travel away from Revachol. It's a moneyed residence, used to posh restaurants and upscale boutiques. Really have a reason to visit Martinez. Who is she? Probably the Wild Pines rep. We should talk to her. He nods in her direction. She's a professional negotiator, though. Have the feeling she'll be very cooperative while telling us nothing. You should take the lead. Ask her unexpected questions. You know, do your thing. Don't be afraid to be a bit wacky. Throwing her off is our best bet. Good idea, piggies. Run along now. Fuck her shit up good. Pound that boat while you're at it. I'd like to watch her swim back to Ozone. Is that heavy fuel? He studies the contents of Cindy's bucket. Red-dyed heavy fuel oil intended for exclusive use in government vehicles, to be precise. What did you think I was using? Aquarels. Sucked it out of a cop's fuel tank myself back in Jamrock. That's some clever cultural commentary. You ain't seen nothing yet, Piggy Boo. Catch you later, Cindy. Watch your back, Ungulate. You've got eyes on you. Why does art inspire you so much? It does, yes. But what is art? Excellent question. Art is a diverse range of visual, literary, auditory, and performative creativity. It's an expression of imagination and technical skill. Additionally, it's history, criticism, and pure enjoyment. In short, art is the highest form of human communication, representation, narrative, emotion, and agency intertwined. Would I fit into the art world? I mean, have you looked in the mirror lately? You have the exact features of a savage art critic, and with that beard and those clothes, dishevelled and prophetic, perhaps you too should try the critique architecture too. Hold on. Is architecture also art? Of course not. It's autism. What? Autism? Box drawing, masturbation with a ruler and a sextant or whatever they use. You should demean and criticise the genteel installation of architecture while extolling the virtues of pure arts. What about music? Is it art? Only the most experimental kind. I guess I have been feeling critical lately. Yes, you seek substance, no vapid representations and reproductions of social mores, as made manifest in stuffy biennials. We're talking real living art here. Become the art cop. Half art critic, half cop. Wait, but don't I have to be 100% cop to get the case finished and all that? Quit being so indecisive. What are you going to do here? Some kind of indecisive and camp aesthetic now? Strike up old shape here. Go art or go home. Okay, 50% art critic is what's needed to free me from rote repetition. So be it. I thought gained actual art degree. Exactly. It's not only your duty to catch criminals of the street. You must also apprehend criminals of the printing press and the gallery. The trite and the derivative artists and the writers of the world. Go ahead and provide savage criticisms, art cop. The world is yours to rip to pieces and reassemble. Taking that. I can't. -1 perception. Can't even look at this shit. Okay, it hurts me. Helps my perception. But my perception is really high. So screw it, I want it. I take this actual art degree. Oh. Cool. I'm actually going to rush back and talk to her now. Because she's more important. He said we have to talk to her today. We will come back to this building tomorrow. It's a bit of a worry, though. In fact, I might have to... Is that the right way? Did I just leave the same way I came? I know I've not read the thing yet either, but... Oh, hang on, there's 2 ways out. Well, that's handy. A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. A green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied around her throat.
Good evening, officer.
Good evening.
I'm Joyce.
She extends her hand in greeting.
Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM.
She steps closer and holds out her hand over the railing. Joyce L. What does the L stand for?
My maiden name.
A bony hand dangles from the sleeve of her oversized raincoat. What gave us away?
Honestly. I've said it to every drunk in town, and you're the first one who's responded.
Clever answer. Relax. She meant it in jest. Check her hand.
To see you here.
Her grip is tight and cold, like steel. There is strength there. If she wanted, she could sink her nails deep into your skin.
To handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead in this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
He opened his notebook as well. There's a trace of irony in his voice, mischief even. This is a tactic? It happens quicker than a shooting star, but did the lieutenant just wink at you?
Interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group.
She's unfazed. It's hard to get a read on her precise disposition, but she appears helpful. You're on a boat. Why, yes I am. She looks at the deck under her feet. Green and white sails flutter overhead. Not a lot of people on boats, are there? Of course there are. She looks around. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around? Wait, we're on an archipelago? Look around. Yes, we are. She raises a brow. We're on Le Kalau. Kalau? I thought we were in Revachol. We are, and the city of Revachol is on the island of Kalu. Still, I haven't seen anyone else sail a boat around here. I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Caprice Kinema motor carriage either. Actually, the lieutenant becomes defensive. That motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit vehicle. It's for crossing long distances in the greater Revachol industrial harbour. It's not a toy. Neither is this. The woman pats the cabin hardtop. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol, between the cities and the islands. You need to make this lady admit she's only riding around on this boat because she's rich. Yes, I do. But before you do, it would be pertinent to ask other questions. Gather more info on this boat of hers. Does she have a name? The boat? No, it is called Cordelite 19 because that's the type of sloop it is. Okay, but what kind of boat is it? It's a pleasure craft, a 19 pacer. It also happens to be rated for Category 1 racing, though these days I mainly use it for business. How do you like it? My sloop? I like it a lot. Her lips curl into a wry smile. It's the eel's hips, baby. I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder we're investigating. Do you have a license for this boat? Officer, I assure you I'm a highly qualified pleasure craft operator. The crowns of her teeth are porcelain, white as the boat's hull as she smiles. Her nonchalance might be related to something called a Wayfarer Act, a law that says she doesn't need a license. Sly Fox, you're not aggressive enough to harass us. Sorry. You are not aggressive enough to harass her further on this. Let's talk about the economics of this boat you're on. Go in for the kill. Oh my, the E word. She crosses her arms. You mean to say it's a symbol of conspicuous consumption that I'm a member of the ruling class? Precise, Armando. Class wartime, baby. Detective, may I remind you that Messier is a professional negotiator. He doesn't look like he thinks you're best in single combat. Then what does that say? She points to the plaque on the side of the pier. Does it say, docking reserved for residents of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A? 33A? This old proletarian haunt here? She waves at the ruin looming overhead. As I said, plenty of people drive boats, of all social strata. Ah, I know about the revolution, and I know it's the eel's heels. Ah, bollocks. She takes a sip. It's gonna happen. Something in your head something is about to happen. Point to your head. In here. Of course. Nothing happens for quite a while. They will come from my head. The arguments. As they do. The thoughts happen inside his brain, Lieutenant explains. Wave your hand next to your head. It will help. It doesn't. Keep waving your hand slowly. My! She inspects the motion, as if it were a tiny spanner on the side of his head. And he's reeling thoughts out. Except he isn't. A thought is going to come out of my head and into my mouth, and I will say it. Of course. Keep doing it. Lieutenant, I truly don't understand what's happening here. I told you his methods are unconventional. I swear to God I'm usually sharp. I don't know what happened. Why am I not killing it? Your marbles on glass, dear. Don't worry. What were we talking about, anyway? It was quite a while ago, but I think, she looks around. Yes, we were discussing my fast and electably middle-class boat. Let's talk about the economics of this boat. Yes, exactly. Detective, may I remind you that Miss Messier is a professional negotiator. He doesn't look like he thinks you're best in single combat. Ah, bollocks. That's harsh. I think I have a handle on this boat thing. Good. She takes a sip of her thermal cup. Tell me about Wild Pines. What do you know? What we do, I'm afraid. I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking. There was a touch of discomfort there. She merely wants to represent. So what do they do? The Pines are core competency of logistics, container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. Point to the small dots on the horizon. See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things. Then to the east, towards the harbour, and that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms. The Wild Pines Group is one of the original Revechulian Indo-tribes. Company awarded royal monopolies by the king, the suzerain himself, centuries ago, and the king is long gone, but several of the Indo-tribes remain. Who are the other Indo-tribes? Saint Baptiste, Lum, an unknown entity known as Brighter Star. You're in good company, it seems. Why, thank you. She does not register the real meaning of the remark. How much money does Wild Pines have? I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year the company booked more than 20 billion real in revenue. Wow. 20 billion is a large number, but the conglomerate employs 72,000 people. They all need to be paid. Then there are capital improvements, interest payments. A wave hits the sloop. She grasps the mainstay for balance. Conglomerate the size of Wild Pines is a shark. If it stops moving, it'll die. Then what becomes of those 72,000 families? It's a tremendous responsibility. Where does Wild Pines get all those millions? They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran and Insulidian isolas 250 years ago, when the Pine ship explored the South Seminese and charted Lo Man Thang on behalf of the suzerain. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavour. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalising. It's taken everything from its employees to build it. It probably helps to start out with a royal monopoly. You know more than you let on. She takes a sip and looks you over afresh. Certainly it helped, but most of the original Indo tribes have failed or been absorbed. To survive, Wild Pines had to grow and adapt. No suzerain did that. What does such a huge system want with a place like this? Look around. You mean, aside from being the terminal's legal owners? She gives you a little smile. Who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo? You don't keep it moving, the workers do. The company is nothing without them. We built this district, she says calmly. We. There it is. She owns up to it. All the best parts of it. Rue de Saint-Ghislain with its bastions. That's the clock I heard. The plaza's Meteorian mosaic. Mosaic? Even some of the old street lamps that have been put back thanks to investments from the WP. That's Wild Pines. She points behind you where the sea wall rises. Before Martinez was swallowed by the industrial harbour, even before it was a part of Revachol, long before Terminal B was erected here, the Pines built it as a resort for its Revacholian employers. A company gateway for a weekend or a summer holiday. Then came the revolution, but that's another matter. He takes a sip. I'm here to make sure the Pines can fulfill their responsibilities to the place they built. With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone. I'm running out of time, aren't I? But I've just... What can you tell me about the strike? Everything, she smiles. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets. Wait, what if I want to hear about trade secrets? First, you'd have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade in Ailments. That gives me the right to silence. It's quite the octopus. Octopus, I will slay it! Good luck. It's only kept in place by vested interests of half the civilized worlds, including your own. What the man means is that the Emergencies Act and the RCM both get their authority from the coalition government. You'd be shooting yourself in the foot, in other words. Leave it alone. But I am derailing us. You want to know about the strike? What is your role in this precisely? I believe the official title is Senior Labour Negotiator. In practice, I am a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counter-offer. And how are the talks going? They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place. Wait, she just admitted that the lynching and the strikes are connected. Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2.2 metre racist behemoth blocking the gates. Oh, you mean Measurehead? Yes, Jean-Luc Measurehead. She leans back and rolls her eyes. How is the strike connected to the lynching? Her eyes narrow. Oh, no, I didn't say how, I just said so. Yes, I believe there is a connection. That's a subject for later. She's resolute in this, yet you sense that she wants to tell you, but you have to earn her trust first. How are the talks going before the lynching? Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived. And when did you first arrive? I arrived 3 weeks ago, she thinks. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM. She looks at his notes. But the strike began in December. I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions. He'd granted the union in prior negotiations. This isn't the first time the union's gone on strike? Heavens, no. There's been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive. Ludicrous, even, is meant. What happened to this Gaumont? Mr. Clare told him. How did he put it? She pauses to compose herself. Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see. Not cool. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare's worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the union. And their demands? There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they say again? Oh, yes. Every worker a member of the board. Most of the workers probably don't know what that means. I like it. Then you might also like their other slogan, Demand Democracy. Not hard communist enough for me. Personally, I agree. It lacks the pizzazzio of every worker a member of the board. What exactly do they mean by it, though? What's the demand? It's quite simple, you see. Every time a Wild Pines group makes a decision about anything really, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in Martinez terminal. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, but they're also kings of 72,000 employees of the Wild Pines group. The king is dead. Long live the workers! That may be well, but it's not up to me to decide who's king. But the negotiations go, it's not a swell start. What are you going to do? I'm not sure. Naturally, I assumed that was just their opening position. A hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up. Just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. Now people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags, a disastrous situation, if there ever was one. Excuse me, the lieutenant looks up from his notes. From whom did you hear about this lynching? The reply comes quick. I first heard from it from the boyar at the gates, the one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was call me Manana. This checks out. Also, sorry, I just don't know how to pronounce that word. No, wait. This chief negotiator heard it from the man at the gates. Surely the Wild Pines group is a more effective channel of information. After all, 2,200 people are on strike. This is a big deal for them. The scabs at the gate, did you put them there? The scabs? She raises her brow. You mean the huddled masses of Jam Rock, come to plead for work where their union refuses to? Don't let her answer it for herself. Let's call them strikebreakers. You put them there, right? If these strikebreakers were organised by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you. Not yet, at least. It's implied she'd open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion. What do you think of Everard? Everard Clare is a man of utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interest of the workers first. Really? Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous glue where you and I have blood. If you were to prick him with something sharp, you could see it oozing out. A knife, maybe. No, a rapier. You sound like you're about to stick a rapier to him. Oh, heavens, no. We get along just fine. Yet now that you mention it, I can't stop imagining that black treacle just dribbling down his double chin. She stops and smiles. That's Everard, all right. He's the most corrupt individual I've ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there was anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother Edgar. Wait, there's two of them. Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as a foreman is up, the other takes over. So it doesn't matter what time of day I go there, it's going to be the correct one. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues. What about the union itself, outside of the Brothers Clare? The Debutars Union was once a perfectly normal institution, 20 years ago anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that. She adjusts her hair. Organised labour is at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The Brothers Clare came and transformed it into, how do you say? She hesitates, looking for the right expression. A mob. The lieutenant says succinctly, the Debutars are a crime syndicate. Sad that it may be, we're forced to cooperate with them. Refreshingly honest, officer. She nods. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother. She turns to you. And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm curious and a talkative person. You see, she explains, Would you say the Devildar's Union is... basically a socialist mob? Thank you for being candid, she nods. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. However much you feed the wolf always hungers. One more thing, you said something happened in the elections. I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the Union. She disappeared. Disappeared? Yes, on the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore or coming to work ever. End of story. This forewoman, her name... Sadly, the company records did not even gave a name. She's just forewoman in the private correspondence. Holly. I don't even know if it's her surname or given name. They don't have access to the Union's files. Some kind of extortion, probably. Indeed. The company suspects foul play, but there's nothing they could do, since it was a Union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with them. That wasn't her talk. Oh no, it was her talking. That's all I need to hear. Let's change the subject. I'm running out of time. Okay, I'm going to let you go. And I'll let her go as well. I'm just going to save game. I want to see if... I'm going to see if this time... I guess I'll let you go. But off screen I'm going to see if I can actually do that thing with him. And it's nice to have a save here. Anyway, so I've been John Proxy on channel John West. I've been having a Disco Elysium adventure. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Thank you for watching.